Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast of the Dark Future. My name is JonJonTheWise, and I'm here with Luke the Goon, aka the Dark Future.
What's going on, guys?
Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. We are back again, and we're going to talk about some Cyberpunk, baby. Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk Red, and maybe a little bit of 2077, right?
Yeah. We'll dip our toes in it a little bit.
Yeah, but you know, we're your two dudes when it comes to the dark future.
Yeah, got it unlocked, dude.
First of all, Luke, hope you're having a wonderful day. I miss you. I'd kiss you if I can.
Oh no. Yeah, well, we're about 3 or 4 hours apart, so.
I know. But
actually, we're a lot farther than that. We're 3 or 4 time zones away.
I know. But we're making it happen, baby, because we're all about that love, that cyberpunk love. Speaking of cyberpunk love, we have just started a Cyberpunk 2020 or Cyberpunk Red fan Discord. And the link should be in the description of this video and everything else. We'll have it on Twitter. We'll have it out there. But the intention of this Discord is for Cyberpunk 2020 tabletop people. Anybody that play the game, anybody looking for a group. We even have channels for role-playing if you want to practice your role-playing chops. And we even have a section of the Discord for content creators. And what we want to do is uplift content creators and give them a place where they can share ideas. So if you're creating content, whether it's actual plays or videos or whatever of cyberpunk stuff, make sure you join. We'll make you a cyberpunk content creator. And anything else you think, Luke?
If you're looking for games or whatnot, we got that in there too. So if you're looking for somebody to play with, it's all good.
Yeah, what I did was I was like, how can we make it so it's like as soon as somebody joins the Discord, they know who's looking for a game and who's running a game. So I decided to make two roles. One is GMs looking for players, and players looking for GMs is the second one, or a group. That's what I put, not GMs. But so the idea is that either one of you just come in the Discord and you say, hey, I'm looking for a game, and then I give you that role, you know, the role of like player looking for group or GM looking for players. And there you go. Boom. As soon as you walk in on the sidebar of the Discord, you can see who's looking for games. Hopefully it works out. That's your turn to talk, Luke.
I don't have anything to add. I mean, it looks good, dude. We got a lot of people in it already.
We have 3 emotes, and they're all Mike Pondsmith's face.
That's all you need, man. All you need are 3 emotes with Mike Pondsmith's face.
Yeah, we got one where it's like he's blessing you. We have one where he's smiling, and then we have a cool one with the glasses. That like iconic interview. Which one was that one?
With the mirror shades one?
Yeah, the mirror shades one.
I think he did that like in a kind of like an announcement video, I think, or something like that.
That was the first time I had actually seen him in like a big interview. It was like one of the first ones where everybody saw that video. You know what I mean? Because I think it was directly from CDPR.
Oh, this one. Okay, this one's different than the one I was thinking of. Yeah, this is the one that CDPR did about 5 years ago, where he's like walking through like a city and he's talking about the genre and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those videos that honestly I saw that video and it fired me up, dude. I was like, dude,
it's a great video, man.
I'm like, it's fucking happening, man. It's actually fucking happening. And that's like one of the genesises of me like starting to do all this content creation for Cyberpunk, that video.
Oh, yeah.
So I looked at it.
It'll definitely get you pumped up.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, we got that Discord for you guys. You're welcome to join. It's open to the public. We hope to see you guys there. But moving on from that, we just heard, because Artel Sorian, they just dropped this All Things Cyberpunk Seminar, where if you guys heard the first episode of our podcast, Luke was there in person.
Yeah, so I don't have to watch it. I lived it, dude.
Dude, he fucking lived it. He even asked the questions. He asked the question at 128. Yeah. I think you were the last question, weren't you?
No, there was one other after me.
Oh, okay. And yeah, Mike was like, "Yes, we're doing a 2020 collector's edition."
I know, that was great.
And
Well, and if you listen, I forgot about this part, but Jay Gray is like, "We're saying that." I don't know if you caught
yeah,
that part.
I didn't know who said that.
He's like,
I
"Yes, we're
heard
saying
that.
that."
No, they were
It was
like
Jay. Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, so we're saying that." Like, okay, it's said.
Yeah. I
That's
think Jay
funny.
sometimes tries to reel in Mike, from saying too much.
I know, man. I think that a lot of them do, but whatever, it's all good. Because there were some times where like Cody would just start talking or Jay, because they know that Mike would just. He's so like holding
Yeah.
it in and containing it, he just wants to talk about it.
I know. I know. Well, and all the interviews you see of Mike, it's like, and even in my interview, like you ask him a question and like he'll say, "Oh, I can't say too much," and then he'll say like he'll
So
talk for
much.
another 5-6 minutes. About, I know.
Listen, I can't tell you, all right? So don't break my arm, but these are the secrets.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I asked him about his role in 2077, I was like, what can you say? Is I can't say anything. And then he said a bunch more.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool.
That's funny, man. I mean, dude, honestly, I would be just as excited as him.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at keeping secrets too. So anyway, other than that, they did speak about two things that are coming up in Red that I thought were really interesting. And there was a bunch of stuff. They had artwork and stuff that we couldn't see, but they.
No, I saw it.
Yeah, how cool was that artwork, dude?
It was pretty cool. I mean, it's similar to what it's similar to what's in the Jumpstart kit.
So
like
by
they're
Anselm Ziolenka.
Yeah, similar. I mean, all the artwork in the book. I mean, they've said like they're going for a very like kind of uniform, I guess is the right word, look.
Yeah.
Like they have a particular look that they're trying to go for. And you can tell by looking at the Jumpstart kit. So it was very similar to that. And like it was like an executive woman kind of, she had like a holographic like notepad or something like that. She was looking at it.
Was it her agent, you think? Because that's what they call cell phones in the game.
No. Well, I don't. It depends what an agent looks like. Dude.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I don't think we've ever seen one. So.
Yep.
But it kind of looked like maybe it was like a laptop or something like that, only like digital.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you played Mass Effect, the way they have those pads.
Oh, okay. That's so cool.
It was like orange like that. So that's what it looked like.
Sweet. That sounds awesome. But yeah, speaking of wearing suits, they spoke about the exec. So in the Jumpstart kit, there really isn't any info on the exec. All it says is, and that's supposed to be the new corporate, right? And there isn't really any info in the Jumpstart kit about it other than, hey, wait for the core rulebook. So they actually dropped some big, juicy nuggets about the exec. Well, Mike did. And then Cody tag teamed with him. And they dropped some huge nuggets. But one of the things that they talked about is how in Cyberpunk 2020, corporates work for this giant corporation and they have all these resources and it's endless. But after the next corporate war and the time of the Red, most of those corporations were destroyed. A lot of them are down to rubble. There's almost nothing left of the organization. It's just a skeleton crew. And that's kind of the lore going into Red, is when you play an exec, you're trying to bring your corporation back to the glory days of when they were in control. They had something to hold on to. So they said that there's kind of this, I don't know if it's a mechanic. It sounds like it's their special ability, but you recruit a team, kind of like a mobster, you find a bunch of people, and you give them jobs within your corporation. They go do things for you. They gave an example that you'll have a secretary, and the secretary leads an assassin hit squad, And if you need somebody killed, you just tell your secretary, and she goes and she takes care of it. So
yeah, I know they said this time around they wanted to change it a little bit because they didn't like the idea, or they thought that people didn't like playing as a corporate, and that they changed it to exec because they wanted it to be more like you're kind of crawling your way up rather than being a big guy in a corporate world.
Yeah, exactly. When you say corporate, there's different levels of it, but if you're level 10 corporate or special ability score 10, that means you're at the top, right? That should be reserved for the CEO of Arasaka or something, right?
Yeah.
So you got to kind of find your players have to be somewhere in between that, you know? So, but I like this because the idea of this exec is so much better. It's so cool. It's like this, fuck, man, how can I explain it? Like in D&D terms, you're kind of like a necromancer. Because you're going
as an executive?
around. Yeah, because you're going around and like, raising the dead and creating an army. But as a corporate or exec, you're creating an army within your corporation, Maybe it's a terrible analogy.
Maybe I don't. In my head, I'm thinking bard, but I don't really know why.
Well, bard could work, but it's kind of like rock. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We're talking about Cyberpunk.
I know it doesn't matter.
D&D.
Fuck D&D, dude. I know, but yeah, that exec role sounds so cool. It's so much better because right now in 2020, the special abilities resources, and it's such a generic talent or generic ability that there is no real definition for it, It's just like you roll it, and according to what your referee says, you have some weight within the company. And you can be like, hey, I need a car, or I need a helicopter, or send a squad of hitmen, of solos to this address. And like they go and they do that kind of shit, So
it'll be interesting to see what they do in the full book with skills, and like hopefully they tone some of them down, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the idea of Red in general is supposed to be like it's 25 years in the future, so things have changed tremendously. And there's been a giant war too. So it's the aftermath of the war, it's the aftermath of conflict, and technology has changed. Technology has advanced, but at the same time, we kind of took a step back and put everything on pause because of that big-ass war. So one of the things they talked about is how nomads have this kind of like underground railroad kind of thing throughout the Americas, where like they have like a Silk Road or something where they have like some kind of transportation. You know what I mean? They have like roads set up and everything.
It's like the drug trade kind of, I think is what they're referring to.
Yeah, so like the Silk Road. Yeah.
Yeah,
so, they have something like that going on. So if you need to get from California to New York, you'll be using that network to go through. And they said that wasn't there in 2020, and it's there in Red now, But
they kind of have to. I think that was kind of the point, is that like, because traditional ties have been severed, that the nomads have kind of taken over, and like they help people get through, travel, and they help transport goods and things like that.
Yeah, and it gives them a reason to be in major cities. Like they're there temporary, they're just there as a pit stop or to pick someone up or pick some supplies up. And really they're just like, this city life is bullshit. It's fake, The real life is out there in the wasteland. It's crazy. Anything else about the All Things Cyberpunk Seminar?
I mean, I think we talked about it quite a bit before.
Okay.
Yeah, other than the huge 2020 collector's edition coming out, which we talked about before. I mean, that was probably the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest thing that came out of the seminar, really.
Yeah, for us, they started clapping in that seminar once they could start talking about 2077.
I know.
People were clapping.
Well, there wasn't even really any. Yeah, there really wasn't anything like asked about 2077 that was, to people who've really been paying attention, didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about all this 2077 news, is it's like it's getting kind of tiring, So I've saw the gameplay demo, and we're gonna talk about the deep dive. But actually, halfway through the deep dive, I stopped watching because I was like, okay, man, I want to like be surprised when I see the game,
Oh, so you didn't even watch the whole thing yet?
I didn't know because it was giving away a lot. It did show me like some cool things. I mean, we can get to it later though if you want.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got a little coming up before that.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but that's a little teaser for you guys. So anyway, let's talk about our wish list for Red. I thought that was a cool idea you came up with, that things that we want in Red. when the core rulebook comes out, whenever it does. They said that there was a date, then they're like, it's not a real date, it's a maybe date, so we'll see. But I think
the core rulebook was supposed to come out at Gen Con.
Yeah, exactly.
Originally. And then they pushed it back to do the Jumpstart kit.
Which I think is fine.
I think they pushed Red back because they want to release it closer to 2077.
I think, yeah, honestly. So you get Red, and then you get 2077 after, like, shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should come out definitely a little bit before 2077. Like a few months before. That way people can get both.
Early next year. Maybe Christmas time? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully when it does come out, they're listening to this podcast and we get something out of it. But I think the number one thing I want to see in Red, which I think we are going to see no matter what, is more adventures and modules coming straight from Talsorian, you know?
Yeah, they already messed around with that in the Jumpstart kit, so...
Yeah, that's why I think that we're actually going to see it.
I think it would also be cool, this wouldn't be in the book, but if they started doing maybe like a online, like on their blog, like screen sheets that they just like release for people to check out, kind of like DLC for the main book, you know?
Yeah, maybe like 3-page or 4-page screen sheet that has an adventure in it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. It's cool.
Yeah. And then, obviously my biggest wish is that they do like the OGL, which the open gaming license where people can use the rules to create their own content. But
yeah, I like that too.
I know a while ago I asked Jay, this is before I was doing, any of this stuff I'm doing. So it was a few months ago, about whether they were going to have an OGL and SRD. And they said probably an OGL, but I haven't heard anything else. And they only answered that because I asked it.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, we don't know for sure, but I mean, it sounded like they want to kind of go in that direction. I think you got to kind of look at. You got to look at. I know that we don't like talking about D&D, but it's hard not to compare any tabletop RPG to D&D because of their success. So it's like you want to kind of duplicate their success, right?
Yeah.
So,
which is part of the reason why I asked about it, because I was like, look, the SRD had just like was a huge like boom for like people to make content for the game. Like it was humongous. Like there's a whole section of Drive-Thru RPG with stuff that people have made using the SRD.
Yeah.
Like,
can you explain to people that don't know? Can you explain to people that don't know what OGL and OGL and SRD, what they stand for?
Yeah. The OGL is the Open Gaming License, which only allows you to use the game's mechanics. So, like, with Cyberpunk, that would be like stat blocks, and the SRD is more involved in that it includes, like, for D&D, it included like spell names and spell effects and all that kind of stuff.
And what does SRD stand for?
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me see. Googling.
But yeah, that D&D doing that SRD for the first couple editions of the game, like that created careers for content creators.
System reference document.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that gave people like work, because people would just, write modules and then sell them, and it allowed people to make OSR games, the old school Renaissance. It allowed, to create whole games off of the SRD.
Yep.
So if Cyberpunk can do that, it would be amazing.
Yeah, I believe that there's this new Cyberpunk tabletop RPG coming out. I don't know if you've heard about it, Carbon 2185.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I covered it a little bit.
Yeah, I backed it, so I'm gonna get like a physical copy and all that stuff. And
cool. I thought about doing one of the Slacker backer things, but
yeah, I just wanted to support them because it's hard doing shit like that, and I don't know, I admire stuff like that. So, but they're using the D20 D&D system, and it even like looks like D&D inside.
Yeah.
And it's like a cyberpunk world.
And that's what that allows for,
Yeah.
when you can use that much kind of stuff, it allows you to do so much with the system.
Yeah, so I do like the idea of everybody making adventures for Cyberpunk, but I also understand if they want to keep it a little closer to the vest. But if they do keep it closer to the vest, then they have to release a bunch of official stuff that is going to be awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Like
That's the hope.
I want Ghost of Saltmarsh, but in cyber, like I want that quality of adventure books, you know? Stuff like that. Like, have you seen that Ghost of Salt? It's like a 250-page book.
I've seen it. I haven't read it or anything, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it has new races. It has a totally new setting and all kinds of ship combat and all kinds of stuff like that. That's fun stuff to do, man. You know?
Yeah, that's something that I'm a little surprised is that we haven't heard about it, but that they haven't. Well, I'm assuming it's not going to be in there, like a new class for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that
because
would
in the
be cool.
Jumpstart kit they say all the classes and there's not a new one on there. They changed the names of a couple, but there's no specific new class. So maybe that would be kind of cool to get like the different source books that have new classes in them.
Yeah, or maybe have a source book that has to do with space and like the space portion of Cyberpunk, and it has its own fucking classes, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if that'll happen with Red, but it could.
Yeah, I mean that's just
because of the nature of the world and stuff during Red.
Yeah, I just know that people like adventures, people like one shots, people like modules, they like all that kind of stuff. And especially if like you already have a campaign, then you do a second campaign, and then now it kind of feels a little bit stale. Feels like, what else can I do? Even though it's not stale, there's always something you can run in your games. But when you get these like little modules and adventures, it sparks creativity in people, you know?
Yeah, I think that's mostly what people actually use modules for. I'm sure some people run them straight from the book, but like I have a bunch of modules that I just read for inspiration, that I just have. Some of them have roll tables that are interesting in them and new items and things like that. But a lot of what I just read is for inspiration.
Yeah, dude. And dude, I even watch like, I watch YouTube videos on people that don't even cover Cyberpunk. They cover other tabletop RPGs because the message is universal, So getting a Cyberpunk, a Artel Saurian book officially made with its own adventures and modules and names for people and new guns and new classes and blah blah blah, that just like opens a whole new world to me as a fan of the game,
Yeah, what's funny is I found an old Cyberpunk game called Cyberspace. I think it came out like in the 80s, and I'm getting a couple like little books from it to look it over and see what it looks like. It looks pretty cool. It's really weird. I never heard of it before. I think it was by the company's ICE. I don't remember, but I'll report back about what I think of it. I mean, it hasn't lived, so it might not have been too good, but we'll find out.
Yeah, let me know about that. But the other thing I was thinking about for wish list for Red is tables. I love tables. I don't know how you feel about like D10, D100, D20 tables, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, like, I come from the old school RPG, Dungeons and Dragons world, so like, we love tables, dude. Random roll tables are amazing, dude.
I know. I'm part of like all the subreddits that have to do with tables, all of them, and I'm always on them. I'm always browsing them. I'm saving them, and stuff like that. I even like making them. So I would love to see some official like D100 encounter tables.
If you like roll tables and stuff, I don't know if you have this book. It's called Augmented Reality.
Yeah.
It's a city kit do you have it?
I have it through an app called Adventuresmith on your phone. And that app has augmented reality in it.
It's got, dude, if you like roll tables, this is like roll table heaven, dude. There are so many, there's like, I'm looking at it right now, there's like, what's on the road? And then it's like, an SUV, a scooter, like armored truck. And then what's in the sky, a police arrow and all kinds of stuff. What's on the river?
Yeah.
Like,
I love that stuff, dude.
the whole book is just roll tables. It's based on anybody who knows Dungeons and Dragons OSR knows of Vornheim, and this book is kind of inspired by Vornheim, only obviously for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So if you have it, if you're interested in it, it's by Paul Gallagher. It's really good book if you're into
Now,
Cyberpunk.
that's not an official Cyberpunk 2020 book, right? And it's not even just for Cyberpunk 2020. It's just Cyberpunk in general, right?
Yeah. They list a whole bunch of the books in the back that it's for, like Cyber Generation, Judge Dredd,
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell, Axe Machina. Yeah, I mean, he specifically wrote it for Cyberpunk 2020. But
did he? Okay.
he made it generic enough. Yeah, if you read the foreword for it, the introduction to it, he talks about that. But he made it, so that it would work for any cyberpunk based game that you have.
Yeah,
So,
I have one. Sorry, go ahead.
If you play Shadowrun, you can use this book too.
Yeah. See, like I made a D100. It's on Reddit for cyberpunk city going ons, like stuff that's just happening in the city. And I made it generic as well because I knew that there's some people that don't play Cyberpunk 2020 and would want to use it. But you know what? I found like I found the D&D tables help too. You just kind of have to repurpose some of the information you get from the tables, you know?
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode about new GM tips, is that you can take stuff from anything and just kind of, repurpose it and use it in your game now.
Yeah, a barkeep or somebody that works at a tavern is just somebody that works in a nightclub in Cyberpunk, you know?
Yeah, which kind of will lead into our next topic, but
yeah, exactly. So those are the two things. I want to see more tables officially from them, and they like tables too. I've seen tables in a lot of their books, a lot.
But, yeah, well, they have tables in Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit.
Exactly, but the thing I found is they don't put enough tables. I wish they had like 5-6 pages of just tables dedicated to them.
Yeah, like if you look at like the first edition Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide, there's a way to play that game and just randomly. You could probably play it by yourself. I mean, kind of, because there's tables where you can just like roll to see what's in the next block, and then the next block, and then you can roll on. If there's a creature, then there's a table to roll for what creature it is. It's like that first edition Dungeon Master's Guide is amazing.
That's awesome. I never realized that you could literally play by yourself with tables.
Yeah, I mean, it would be not as fun, and
a little bit
you
lonely.
Wouldn't be able to do you wouldn't be able to do like NPC interactions because it's just you. So if you found a citizen, you'd have to be like play both roles as a citizen and you, which gets fuzzy.
That's funny. All right. Anyway, I mean, my number one thing for the wish list for Red is for it to come out and be awesome. That's it. I just want it to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it will be, to be honest. My expectations were really high and they like surpassed it with the Jumpstart Kit, so I don't know. I don't know what they could do wrong with the core rule book.
Yeah, so, I guess the other thing I was thinking about was Thursday Night Throwdown and Friday Night Firefight. I think they're gonna do both because like we've heard Mike Pondsmith said that he's gonna do it both an easy way and a hard way.
Yeah.
And I think if I use it, I'll use a combination of the two because I don't like doing all the mark off boxes, but I do like the hit location things.
Yeah.
So I think I'd use a hybrid of those both.
Well, I'm setting up for my next my campaign is starting up again with my buddies. I got it all sorted out. Next week, Thursday, September 3rd is when we'll be going on. 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time will be starting up if you guys are interested to watch it live. But the reason I brought it up is because I was going to use the Cyberpunk Red weapon chart for the Jumpstart Kit, the range difficulty. And then I met up with my players, we talked about it, and they were like, hey, John, I don't think we can use this thing because there's like a 50-meter shot with my pistol is impossible. I can't roll that number. And this thing is supposed to have a range of 70 meters. And I was like, oh shit, I just realized that the ranges for the guns that they're using are from Cyberpunk 2020. And unless I'm going to try to figure out a new way to, figure out their ranges and stuff like that. And he's like, dude, I specifically picked this pistol because it has a 70-meter range. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, So everything would either have to get reworked or we would have to just revert to the 2020 combat system. So it was kind of a bummer to me because I wanted to use the new system, but I really can't unless I'm going to use, I'm limited to the guns that are in the Jumpstart kit. So there's some details that I do like that they get into with 2020 that I don't want to lose, and I hope that they keep it in red,
Yeah, I mean, I'm mainly referring to the way like hit points work.
Yeah, I like that too. I see. That's the thing. I kept the hit points thing. I took away automatic fire that doesn't exist in my game anymore. It's single shot or 3-round burst, and or covering fire. But I reverted. But the guns work the same as they do in 2020. So it's like this weird abomination of combat system that I got going on right now. Like no more hit locations. I kept that in. So no more hit locations. And
you took it out. See, I would put that in. I always like that.
I want to keep it in, but I don't want an extra roll to do. You know what I mean? It's just another thing that I'll have to roll. You could just roll.
You don't just treat it like a headshot?
So this is what I do. If you roll a 10 in my game, it's an automatic headshot. So it's a super crit, double damage, everything. But
even if they're not aiming for the head?
Even if they're not aiming for the head. So the idea is you just shot in that general direction and you got lucky and you hit him in the head. Maybe he ducked down at the exact moment that you shot and you got him right in the head,
Mm-hmm.
So that's not in the red Jumpstart kit, and that's not in 2020. I just totally, added that myself. So yeah.
Yeah, they also have, like, even if your characters roll a 10, there is exploding dice.
Yeah, but in red, it explodes once and that's it.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. I kind of liked how in 2020 you could just sit there. Like, I had one of my players roll a 42 once.
And it's your game, dude. You can change it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I'm still a fan of red and 2020. And the fact that both of them exist, that means that I can make this combat system. I just had to lay it down in the beginning with my players, right away. So
yeah, I've always used exploding dice in like every game.
It's fun, dude, when you just keep on rolling and rolling. You're like, oh my god, how's this even possible? Like, blows your mind. I love it.
And it's I think it's more like, in a way, realistic, because I mean, in real combat, you hit somebody with a sword, then you can back up. Like, so it allows you to be like, you like chopped his head off or something,
Yeah, I love critical fails and critical successes, because as a GM, what that does is when you see that, it's like, okay, what is the most extreme case in either direction? And you have to think about it, And that's like sometimes most of the fun. It's like when someone rolls a 1, you're like, your fucking gun disintegrates or something, like it breaks in your hands, it jams. But then when they roll a 20 for like a persuasion check or something like that, they just get whatever the fuck they want because they rolled a 20. Or sorry, a 10.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that idea. But anyway, that's all about red. We did want to start. Are you cool to move on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we wanted to talk about Altered Carbon again, the Netflix show. Luke just finished it. And there's going to be spoilers ahead. So if you haven't watched the series yet, it had come out a long time ago. So shame on you. But spoilers are ahead. So if you don't care, keep listening. If you do, then just fast forward a little bit. All right? Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, I finally finished it because it took me so long. I mean, I guess if you're not familiar with the idea of the show, there's in this world they have what they call sleeves, and there's this new technology that allows people to upload their consciousness into like a disk that they call a stack. And so there's this like military trained, kind of combat trained guy, and he's part of this special group called Envoys. And a really rich guy named Bancroft is murdered, and so he brings back Kovacs, who's the name of the main guy, to figure out who murdered him. And that's pretty much the setup of the show.
Isn't Kovacs isn't he Japanese though?
Well, he is, and then his name is Takashi Kovacs.
Yeah.
And then his consciousness, he's like, he commits some kind of, or they frame him, I think. It's been a while since I saw the first couple episodes. And then he gets put away for like 200 years. And then they bring him back and they put him into a new sleeve. And then he's a different guy.
Yeah, so the idea is he was a Japanese dude that was like a crazy killer assassin kind of guy. And they put his consciousness on this device with the idea that you could just put it in another body later, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
Everybody has access to this technology, so it's not like he's special.
Yeah.
But mainly it's like a rich person thing. Because like if you're poor and like say you're like there's actually a funny scene in the beginning of the show where there's like this I guess like this like 12-year-old girl, she like dies or something, and her parents don't have a whole lot of money, so they put her stack inside like a 74-year-old woman.
Yep.
Her parents are waiting, and they're like, "Oh, what happened?" They're like, "Sorry, man, this is all we got left." It's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And then like rich people will have like clones of their body, so they could be the same person over and over and over again, and they'll live basically forever. So it creates like this permanent caste system in this world, to where like if you're rich, you'll live forever and like you're untouchable. And they actually live like in the clouds. Like they have like these like houses, like these mansions that are like floating in the sky. And then they call like the people that live like down to like poor people are considered like, what do they call them? Like ground dwellers or something like that?
I think that's what they do call
it's
them.
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there's always that dual caste system in like that genre. There's never a middle class in Cyberpunk. It's always your dirt fucking poor or your corporate rich guy that lives in a gated community, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's kind of what creates that's kind of the cyberpunk, I guess you could call it a trope.
Yeah, exactly. There's always the haves and the have-nots, and it's always the haves oppressing the have-nots and the have-nots scraping by and trying to get revenge against the ones that have everything. So
what was your overall impression of the show? You saw it a while ago, so I'm just curious.
I saw it a while ago. First of all, I love the genre, obviously, so I was excited just for the genre. And that was around the time that I was starting my other campaign, I think. The same campaign that I'm starting up again. So it gave me all kinds of fucking inspiration. And on top of that, the story was actually pretty decent too. It was like well acted, well written. As a show, like by itself, it was good. And I know I usually gauge things by what my wife likes, because my wife's not really a nerd. She doesn't like video games or tabletop games or anything like that. She's super supportive, but it's not her thing. And if she likes something that I usually like, then I'm like, okay, so this reaches a general audience. It's not just for me, you know? So so I thought it was good. My wife thought it was good. And I can't wait to see more, you know? I thought they had some really cool original ideas. Like, we kind of talked about it. Did we talk about a hotel that has No, we talked about it on the phone.
Okay, yeah. We talked about it off the podcast.
The podcast, yeah. So there's a hotel in the show, and the hotel is run by an artificial intelligence, and it controls like gun turrets and all kinds of shit in the hotel, and it can even make like a holographic butler out of nowhere. Or is the guy holographic?
Yeah, the hotel is kind of based on like Edgar Allan Poe, because the AI's name is Poe.
Yep.
And there's like, it's called like the Raven, I think is the name of the hotel.
That's right.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's right. So he looks like Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay, here's the huge spoiler. Dude, I almost cried when they killed him.
I know.
The one of the evil guys he's a Shadow Walker.
Yeah.
The nickname they give him. And he comes in and he has this weird little device, and he just kind of starts to like I guessing he's like deleting him, and so it just looks like he's like melting away, like kind of like in this Matrix way, and it was so sad. Dude.
Yeah, like glitching out. It was fucked up.
Yeah, it was. And it was like it was kind of graphic in a way, because like it looked like acid was like eating away at his skin, but it was like I said, it looked like the Matrix a little bit. Like it was really weird looking.
Yeah, like he planted some kind of virus that burned everything, the whole AI out, you know?
Yeah, it was like he deleted him or something.
And the first time you get to see like how powerful this AI is when like some enemies walk into the hotel and the turrets just come out and he just fucking mows them down, and you're like, oh, okay, so you don't want to fuck with this hotel.
Well, that's the other thing with the show. The show's pretty graphic, and there's nudity and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, because we're all adults, and it's okay. It's the best thing.
Yes, it's a Netflix show. So,
yeah, you know. Yeah, it's good. I like it, man. I like that. Highly recommend it. What do you give it out of 10?
Geez, out of 10, probably like, maybe 8, maybe.
I was gonna say 8.5.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, the only problem I had with the show. Okay, at the end, it's kind of revealed that like his sister is kind of the one that's behind everything.
Yeah, that whole story arc I didn't like at all.
I was about to say that, dude. That's the only part that really brought the show down for me.
Yeah,
like because it's almost like hinted at least I felt this way, that like their relationship was like incestuous a little bit. I don't know if you got those vibes from it.
No, I didn't. Fuck, I must have missed it.
Well, she's just. Do you know what I'm talking? Like, she keeps talking about how much she loves him and how much, like, it's not his. He doesn't feel that way, but she definitely does.
Maybe it's just
the
like
reason she didn't.
The actor just portrayed it, or the actress portrayed it terribly. You know what I mean?
I don't know, but like her whole thing for doing this was just to get them back together again, because they grew up like in a bad home, and then like
he was the
she
protector.
goes on a lot of weird. Yeah, she goes in a lot of weird character arcs during the show.
Yeah, it was just a weird thing, like direction to take the story. You know?
Yeah, it was. That was the part that, like, I mean, I liked the stuff around it. That character for me felt really weird. Like, I felt like her motivations were really strange, because like 200 years had gone by since she'd last seen him, and she still felt that way. Like, I don't know, dude.
Dude,
like,
that's like my. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I can't imagine. Like after 200 years, you know what I mean? Like, because after a few years, I forget about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like 200 years, that's kind of crazy.
That's like my thing about The Notebook. You know the movie The Notebook?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Don't worry, you're not missing anything. But there's, since you haven't seen it, I'll tell you. There's this part where
I've seen the memes. I've seen the memes of it, where he's like written a letter to her every day or some shit like that, and like.
Yeah, that he does do creepy shit like that. But every girl thinks it's like it's like the cutest movie, and it's so touching, and they cry and all kinds of shit. But the guy falls in love with this girl. They kind of have a falling out. And then she goes and marries somebody, and he never got over her. So he finally gets her attention one day and says, look, I have something for you. And this is like years after they've dated, like years. The lady's married and everything, right? And he goes, I've built your house the way that you like it. And there's like this entire 2-story house with the shutters the way she likes them, the colors, the color scheme and everything. This fucking psycho went and built a house for the girl that already has moved on and is married. Like, it was, dude, it's over. What are you doing? And he went and said, like, I built this house for you, and then that makes her like change her mind and they get together. But I'm thinking, like, dude, that guy's out of his fucking mind. You know what I mean? Can you imagine?
He's a psycho, dude.
Imagine if you get your ex-girlfriend, you and your girlfriend, you break up, she's your ex. 20 years later, you built the house of her dreams, and she has kids and she's married. Everyone would think you're a psycho.
I know.
You know?
And that's totally fine in the movie. You know, in the movie world, that's romantic, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember, how did that connect to Altered Carbon? I don't remember how.
Because we were talking about his sister having this like
still
relationship.
That 200
for 200 plus years.
Yeah, that's way worse, dude. It's been 200 years.
Insane, dude. And the other thing that I struck was weird was the very end of the episode, the very end of the last episode.
Yeah.
When like he's with Ortega, right?
Yep.
And like he's been like kind of with her, like they have a weird like it's like a married relationship kind of. And then like so he has this chick, right? And he could be with her, but instead he decides to leave to look for this other chick that he was with 200 plus years ago that he has no idea where she is at. Like
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah.
Because his sister took her stack and said and like hid it somewhere. And so I like what was he thinking, dude? Like
Yeah. The sister's a problem, basically.
Yeah. The whole sister thing was like I mean I don't know what other direction they would have gone with it, but that direction definitely felt weird.
Yeah. But still good show, I think. I know we're shitting on it a little bit, but we just praised it like hardcore.
Oh yeah, no, it was good. Yeah. It's good. I mean I definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
The really like convenient mechanic of the story is that they have these stacks, and throughout the show they like put one person's stack into somebody else's body, so it never gets too confusing. There's one character that gets a little bit like, who is this guy again? But it's convenient because in the next season, the guy who played Kovacs isn't in it. It's going to be the Falcon. He's going to play Kovacs the next episode.
Yeah. So he's
the next season.
He's the new skin.
Yeah, he's the new Kovacs. And he's the new sleeve, Anthony Mackie.
Or sleeve, sorry. You know what's cool about that? If any of these like main actors decide to get like all Hollywood on them and say, I want this much next season, they could just get another guy.
Yeah, that was my point. It's so easy for them to like just take, you know, like they can slip in and out and just come up with a reason why their stack is in somebody else's actors. It's a really like, I know it's a book, but it's a really convenient way for them to just be like, you know, we'll just use somebody else.
If somebody like changes in the middle of a season, you know why. He was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, you know, dude, this show like really got me thinking about like technology and how like one day we could possibly have something like a stack.
Yeah.
Because all it is like if you eventually like at some point, like if we get like some kind of camera in our eye, right?
Yep.
And then we have something that's recording all of those, and we have like an implant or something in our brain. So that's all of our memories that are on this thing. So if they take that out when we die and they put it somewhere else, then whatever that other body is going to have all our memories.
Well, that's the argument. It's the question: are you your memories, or are you more than that?
Yeah, because in the show, it's actually like they figured out a way to put your consciousness into it.
Yeah. Well, the idea is there's a finite amount of data in someone's brain, right? Of information. It's not never ending. Like there's an actual number. If you can put it into gigabytes, it's probably like 10,000 gigabytes or something like that, right?
Yeah.
There is a number, and actually they do know the number. And we're actually getting to the point where we're able to make these giant hard drives that can store so much information on like a chip. So theoretically, we could in the near future install someone's entire brain, all the information in their brain, their synapses, all the things that fire into a hard drive. And then the question is that a hard drive them? Is that a copy of them? Is there a soul, you know? Does a soul even exist? It's a really philosophical thing, you know?
Yeah, like I think my interpretation would be it wouldn't be you. Because I think there's more to you than just your thoughts, you know?
Yeah, but what if they were able to put that into like take your DNA, clone you, make a body, and put that consciousness into it? Then
yeah, I mean that's the question. Like nobody knows the answer to that.
There's only one way to know, man. You got to do it.
I know, just to do it. Yeah, dude, Elon Musk is on the way to doing it, man. That Neuralink that he's working on.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, the idea of what he wants to do with it is he wants like disabled people to give them life again, you know?
Yeah, to kind of like cure kind of like dementia and stuff like that.
Not just that, it's just that there's some people that are like vegetables and theoretically they're still there mentally, but they don't move, they don't react or anything to the world. And he's like, what if we can, get in there and give them a way to communicate with us. Kind of like Stephen Hawking, but like worst case scenario Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a vegetable.
That's some fucking cyberpunk shit, dude.
I know.
It's coming too soon, dude. Speaking of stuff coming too soon, Cyberpunk 2077 deep dive demo. Let's talk about that. They just released it was like 15 minutes of gameplay, right? And they commentated over it.
Yeah, well, there was basically the same demo that we got, the full demo we got last year. It had the same guy narrating it, and then after that, they did like an hour-long Q&A with a couple of developers.
Yeah. So tell us about it.
Well, a lot of it is stuff that we've seen, only it was put into motion. Like a lot of it was the screenshots that we've seen, only put into motion, and it was basically what we've all heard from what was going on at the Gamescom, because everybody's like every website that's seen it has put out their full description of what happened. Yeah. Only they did kind of like a weird thing that I thought was a little jarring with it, and that they like cut it up into a bunch of weird little sections. Like they had like a lore section, like a netwatch section, like a solo section, net running section, and they chopped it up. I didn't like that as much. I felt like they kept interrupting the gameplay to say something different.
It might not have been ready. The rest of it
they
might
showed
not be
it already.
ready.
I mean, maybe not ready for like everybody to see it, but they've been showing it to people behind the scenes.
No, but what I mean is, like wherever they are in the setting of the game, like whatever section they are, like if they go outside the door, there's nothing there because they're not done with it. Maybe that's how far behind they are.
I mean, all the footage is taken from the demo that they've showed everybody, and that's what I mean. Oh, so they didn't obviously they.
So there's more gameplay.
They were going to show the whole demo, and then
there's more gameplay in the demo.
There's more that they didn't show us.
Okay, that's what you're trying to say.
Because the demo that they took the demo that they showed at Gamescom, and then they cut it up into a bunch of pieces, and that's what they showed us. They were originally going to show us that whole demo, but they changed their mind for some reason. Nobody really knows why, but they just decided to not show the whole thing, and they only showed like a 15-minute edit of what they showed everyone else, and that caused a little bit of controversy. People weren't too happy about that, but.
Yeah, I don't know why people would be unhappy. They're showing you something. They didn't have to show you anything, And they have their reasons.
They showed. Yeah, I mean, they didn't say what their reasons were, and I'm not sure exactly why they decided to do that.
Maybe they showed it to.
I'm kind of glad.
I was gonna say maybe they showed it to a closed circle, and they got some feedback on it, and they're like, you know what? It's better if we don't show this, and that yet, because it's not done.
Yeah, they want to work on it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, watching the demo, like, I have a bad feeling that it's going to be one of those games where, like, you're walking down the street and then, like, you see a character just, like, walking in place, like, where the wall is, and just, like, walking. Because I don't know how far you watched into it, because I know you said you didn't watch the whole thing, but when you watch some of the character animations and things, it looks kind of like that.
I mean, that's what GTA 5 does. It's still an awesome game,
Yeah.
It just depends.
I think the other thing that looked kind of weird was Keanu Reeves' model looked kind of strange sometimes.
Yeah, I saw that. It's just because I think it's just not done, dude. That's it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they're still going to put some polish on it.
Yeah, there's still a lot of work to do, I think, and they probably even were like, should we even show this? Will people be like, what is this? And so many people commented on it. They're like, what's with that texture? Yo, you guys better work on that. It's like, dude, of course they're fucking working on it. Are you kidding me? Like, all the other graphics are not consistent with that. Why would they have their star character look like a fucking PS1 character?
He didn't look that bad, but yeah, he didn't really look like Keanu Reeves. I think that was the thing.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be his voice, so it's good enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, you can obviously you can tell it's his voice, especially there were certain scenes of him that looked really good. Like the scene where I guess you're just getting out of character customization, and then he's like, nobody gives a dog dick what you look like. That looked really good.
Yeah.
But the other stuff looked kind of fishy.
Yeah, that's
Of
cool.
Keanu Reeves.
It's a cool idea
And
to
then
have
there was
Keanu
also-
Reeves as your like Jiminy Cricket, and he's just like hanging out with you everywhere you go.
I don't know if you noticed this or if you got this far, but when you jack into the NetWatch agent, there's all these different agents that pop up on the screen, and one of them is Roach.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw someone post that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then they actually have a little there's a little Easter egg for Cyberpunk 2020. There's when he's looking at all these books on the table, one of the books is Ray Spartmos's Guide to the Internet.
That's funny. That's crazy. I like those little Easter eggs. Damn, people are dissecting
there's gonna be a lot
these.
more.
Yeah, people are dissecting these things. What else? What else from the deep dive? I'll tell you what I liked. I liked the Netrunner demo that they showed. They showed you a Netrunner demo and a strong solo is what they called it. And I thought the Netrunner was way more interesting than the strong solo.
But the Netrunner could do some pretty crazy stuff. Like he was like hacking, like that. The nanowire stuff was really cool because like it's not only a weapon, it's also like a hacking utility. Yeah, so you can like whip it at somebody and get it into their like cyberware, and then like hack their cyberware and like make them shoot themselves in the face and like blow up the cyberware, all kinds of weird, crazy stuff.
Yeah, you could do all kinds of shit like that, and it totally looks like a Spider-Man fucking thwick of his like web.
It does. I didn't even think about that till you said that, but it does look like that.
You know what I was thinking? Like,
well, then
can you just do that and then like it pauses the game, or does like somebody walk by and look at that and go, "What the fuck is going on here?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either. Like, could two people be having a conversation? You start hacking one of the guys. Does it pause the game? Like reality? What does it do, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
They didn't really go too much into it in the demo. You couldn't see too much from it.
No, but there was like definitely like everywhere you went as a Netrunner, there was like things popping up on the screen where you could connect to shit. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely playing a Netrunner.
They hacked like some security camera, and they hacked like a bench press. It was like an electronic bench press.
Yep.
And like I guess they increased the weight, and it like the bar fell on the dude's throat.
Yeah, and he couldn't lift it, and it killed him. You see blood and shit. It's fucking awesome. That's the one thing I really like about the game. The gore, dude.
I was about to say the blood.
Dude, it's not just the blood. It's gory as fuck. Like people's torsos getting blown off and shit. It's awesome, man. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was in the original demo too, when you slide and shoot that guy's legs off.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. And as a solo, the one cool thing was you could pull that turret off of its gun, like just with your bare hands.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there were some cool parts.
They showed a bunch of other. They showed the inventory system, which looks a lot like The Witcher 3.
Oh, wow.
And then they also showed the tech tree.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to know any more of that shit. I was like, okay, they're going to start showing mechanics and like inventories and stuff, and I kind of want to be surprised by it. So I stopped watching after that.
The cool stat is a little bit different.
Okay, so what does it do?
How cool. It's not like how cool you are.
Yeah.
It's like how you stay level-headed, like in a gunfight, and like how you can like keep your cool is really what cool stands for.
Yeah, but I think in the red jumpstart kit, it says both definitions: how cool you are and how you keep your cool. And I like that idea. I like that it's both.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they are kind of connected.
Yeah. I know, because in the cool tech tree, there's sniper. It's included in the cool, which makes sense because, you know, you can hold your gun real steady and stay cool while you're trying to fire.
Yep. Yeah, I liked it.
And they showed the hacking minigame. Did you watch the hacking minigame?
It was, I just saw the one where she was in the augmented reality, where she was in the bathtub, and then you see people, but I don't think it's the same thing.
No, they actually showed the minigame, like what you have to do to hack into things.
Okay.
And it's like a weird kind of like there's like maybe 4 rows up and down of like 2-letter combinations.
Oh
And
yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah.
over you yeah, you go over to one row and you select it, and then yeah. What was that?
What just happened? Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
I don't know. I just heard something like it just like bumped out. Anyway,
No,
uh,
my microphone
yeah,
got disconnected. Whoops. Sorry to all our listeners. We're
okay,
back
that's what it
though.
was.
We're back.
That's what it was. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's like you select one row, and then you have to select from the row over, and then when you select from that row over, you have to select from the row up until like you run out of options, and then however many connections you've made is the different things that you've hacked.
Oh yeah, that's right. And they had like 4 different folders. One was like, technology, one was like
Yeah, like
cameras and shit like
yeah,
that.
security cameras, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting because you can't have it be like 2020, the tabletop game, and it made sense that they make their own game. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So far, anything else about the demo? I'm over here thinking like
No, I think that is. I think
I was like I don't want to watch it. I don't want to spoil it, and you just told me everything.
well, it's one thing to hear about; it's another thing to actually see it. So
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. But yeah, anything
yeah,
else?
I mean, overall, it was pretty good. I mean, there were little things here and there that I think they'll work on. Like we were saying, character models and some things looked a little bit rough around the edges, but I think it looks good. I mean, I'm still really excited to play it. So
Is it weird that I have a tinge of feeling that I was kind of underwhelmed?
no, I felt the same way.
You felt the same way, like kind of underwhelmed, and I'm kind of like, uh-oh, we're kind of hyping this a little too much. Because I think
Yeah,
it
I think
looks
a lot
like
of people felt that way though.
I think it looks like a good game, but it's not like the next coming of Jesus, you know?
I think a lot of people felt that way after they saw this demo though.
Yeah, because you kind of see like what's going on, and you're like, oh, it's just a good game. That's all, you know. And with constant development, I'm sure it'll be a great game. But the game that we're gonna get is just gonna be like an awesome game that you play probably once or twice, and then you put it down. You know, I mean, like complete playthrough once or twice. That's what I mean. So, but
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to see. I mean, it's going to depend on how many side missions and stuff they have and how interactive the world is. Because if it's anything like Skyrim, like
yeah,
we'll be playing it for a long time to come.
yeah,
I mean,
no,
it all
if it
depends on the stuff
is,
that they haven't showed us yet.
yeah, and the other question is, well, the thing about Skyrim that makes it so replayable is its mod system. All the mods out there, it's
Yeah,
insane, dude. I mean, you could literally play a different game, a different type of Skyrim game every time you play, you
yeah.
know? So,
And I've talked about that before. Like post launch, one of the things I think they should make a priority is mod support.
yeah. I think that they said that they were going to allow mod support, that they were going to open source it, but not immediately. I think a little bit later.
Yeah, because well, they got to obviously they're going to do expansions, so they're probably going to work on expansions and stuff first, I imagine.
Yeah, I would love to see some kind of system put in place where people can like play Cyberpunk 2020 in the game. You know what I mean? Like level design and stuff like that.
I've talked about that before. I don't know if we talked about it or if I talked about it in the Cyberpunk Community podcast, but I'd love to see like a kind of Divinity Original Sin 2 kind of like
Ugh,
game master mode
yeah,
where
I
you could
know.
go in and create like your whole world if you wanted to with the assets that they give you and put NPCs in the world where you want them and just like upload it and then anybody can download your mission and play it.
Yeah, you did talk about it last week. We just didn't go deep into it, but I agree
Mhm.
wholeheartedly, dude. I agree wholeheartedly. And you know what? The reason why I kind of really want it is because I think it's possible for them to do it. And it could happen, because they are fans of the tabletop game at the end of the day as well. But who
Yeah, I'm
knows?
curious if that's what the multiplayer will be.
Ooh,
because what else do you do? They already said they're not doing a battle royale.
Yeah.
So, are you going to do like, runs and stuff? Because that would work, like have their own missions that you can go run and do, and then be able to give players the option to create, runs.
Well, there's two possibilities that I can think of that have already been done before. One is the obvious one, team deathmatch, capture the flag, shit like that, like Counter-Strike style shooting. There's all that. There's also the possibility that they could do some kind of GTA online, where it's just a world, it's Night City, and everybody can be in it, and it's just chaos.
See, that would be sick though, because like for me it would be cool because they have like GTA RP,
Yep.
That's like blowing up on Twitch. That would be really cool in a 2077 world.
Yeah, it would be cool to have like some kind of Cyberpunk RP in that universe,
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like even if, like you say, like they have the regular online version, like GTA Online's like chaos, but on the RP servers, it's like totally chill. Like people kind of do their own thing. And if they use the same map as Night City, it would be really cool. Maybe you could go and like do certain missions together. And because in GTA, they let you do like, they have like those bank heists and stuff. Yeah. So if in Cyberpunk you could do, different runs, like you could go to the Maelstrom gang and stuff like that, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I like that idea. Like make your own like little MMO universe of role players. It's cool. So yeah, we'll see.
Do you think they're gonna put the bozos in 2077?
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I'm just curious. I think they are too, but they're like really holding it tight to their chest. Like, they're not saying anything about it.
You're gonna see Maelstrom. You're gonna see bozos for sure. You can't have Cyberpunk without both of those. But you might even see the Kennedys.
Yeah, now that would be awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, those are like
they have the Inquisitors.
You have to have those guys too. I think I actually saw them in a clip once. Like there's guys in like hooded robes walking. I'm like, oh, those guys must be the Inquisitors.
Yeah, they're in Watson in the first demo.
There you go.
But I didn't know if they were Inquisitors or not. But
I don't know if they are either, but they could be. That's what I'm thinking. Like they could be one of those like weird.
They kind of look like. I thought they were like Hare Krishnas or something like that.
Yeah, because you treat them like Jehovah's Witness or Mormons, like in our universe. People just they're like, oh, they're doing their thing. They're not bothering anybody, but there's times that they do bother somebody.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, man? I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah. I think we covered everything pretty in depth actually this episode.
Hell yeah, man! I love it, dude. I love talking Cyberpunk. So September 3rd, my live game will be up. Make sure you guys are paying attention to the channel, YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube and Mixer and Twitch. Luke, coming up. What do you got?
Actually, as we speak, I have a deep dive lore video commentary. I recorded my live reaction, but it didn't come out well, so I had to go with this route. I've got a Life Paths video coming out. I will be on the High Shelf Gaming podcast in a few days, so I'm not sure when that will be posted, but I'll let you guys know. I'm going to be on the Point Click podcast.
Yep.
It'll probably already be out when this is posted.
Yeah, the Point and Click one is gonna be out first, and then this one will come out. So
yeah, okay. Well, so since you're listening to this after it already comes out, go listen to that podcast. You'll get to see me drink some beers and talk a bunch of crazy shit.
Hell yeah, dude! I can't wait. I can't wait to see drunk Luke.
With some. I'll keep it a secret. It's one of my favorite. Well, you already know if you already seen this, but it's a good beer.
Ooh, okay.
And then follow me on Twitter. I'm on the road to 1,000 followers right now. I think I've got like 962.
Hell yeah.
The Dark Future 2. And then there's my website, thedarkfuture.com. I haven't been posting too much on there because I've been doing YouTube so much lately. But once Red comes out, I'll probably be posting a lot more on there. And I'm still trying to get stuff on there everywhere. I got to start getting better at posting my YouTube videos on that site.
Yeah,
but there's still a lot of stuff to read on there. My Jumpstart Kit review is on there, which did killer. and there's a couple other stuff. And then besides that, I'm on YouTube, like I said, The Dark Future. And I just posted a video about which books you should buy if you're playing Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk Red, or if you're interested in learning more about the lore for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep. There you go. And make sure you guys join our Discord too, because you should put your stuff on our Discord as well. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully. I think so. We'll make it happen next week somehow. But we made it happen this week. So that's it. All right. Love you guys. See you next week.
Yep. I'll see you guys in the dark future.
Dun dun dun.